Right now, you are probably on camera. Maybe 1, maybe 10, maybe more. There are over 1 billion surveillance cameras operating on Earth today, watching streets, stores, highways, and crowds. Some are mounted above traffic lights. Others are hidden in elevators and parking garages. Most people walk past them every day, rarely noticing they are there. But the first CCTV camera was not designed to watch humans. It was built to watch a rocket that might explode. To understand why the world became so heavily observed, we have to go back to the 1940s. The world was in the middle of the Second World War. Germany was developing a powerful new weapon called the V-2 rocket. It was the first long-range guided ballistic missile ever created. The rockets were revolutionary. They were also extremely dangerous. Explosions during testing were common. Engineers needed a safer way to observe the launches. Standing near the launch pad was risky. One malfunction could destroy everything nearby. A German engineer named Walter Bruck proposed a solution. Instead of standing near the rocket, engineers could watch it through a camera. In 1942, he built the first closed-circuit television system. A camera was pointed directly at the rocket launch pad. The signal was transmitted through cables to monitors inside a protected bunker. Engineers could safely watch the launch from a distance. This system had no broadcast signal. It was not meant for public viewing. Only specific monitors could receive the feed. That is why it was called closed-circuit television. The system worked. Engineers could observe launches without risking their lives. But something else had just been invented. The first step toward modern surveillance. After the war ended, the technology quietly spread beyond military use. Engineers realized cameras could observe more than rockets. In 1949, the first commercial CCTV system appeared in the United States. It was marketed under the name Vericon. Businesses began experimenting with the new technology. Factories used cameras to monitor machinery and production lines. But early systems had a major limitation. They could watch events, but could not record them. Everything happened live. If no one was watching the monitor, the moment was lost forever. That changed in the 1960s. Videotape recording technology transformed surveillance. Now, cameras could record footage onto magnetic tape. Events could be replayed later. This changed the role of CCTV forever. The camera was no longer just a viewer. It became a machine that could capture evidence. Law enforcement quickly realized the potential. One of the earliest public CCTV systems appeared in 1968. It was installed in Olean, New York. The cameras monitored the town's main street. Police hoped it would reduce crime. Soon other cities began experimenting with surveillance cameras. Banks and retail stores also adopted them. Banks installed cameras to discourage robberies. Stores used them to catch shoplifters. By the 1970s, surveillance cameras were slowly becoming common. Security monitoring rooms filled with flickering monitors. Operators watched rows of screens, each one showing a different camera angle. The technology continued improving. Cameras became smaller and easier to install. Recording systems became more reliable. More businesses started adopting surveillance. But something unexpected also began to happen. The presence of cameras started changing behavior. Studies found that people often act differently when they believe they are being watched, even if no one is actively observing them. In some places, crime dropped in monitored areas. But in other places, crime simply moved somewhere else. Instead of eliminating crime, cameras sometimes relocated it. The technology had limits. Still, cities continued expanding their surveillance systems. Public safety officials believed cameras helped investigations. By the 1990s, some cities were installing hundreds of cameras. Few places became as famous for surveillance as London. After several terrorist attacks in the early 1990s, the UK expanded public CCTV dramatically. Cameras appeared across streets, train stations, and public squares. Today, London contains hundreds of thousands of cameras. Many people consider it one of the most surveilled cities in the Western world. Yet most people walking through the city barely notice them. The cameras blend into buildings and streetlights. They sit quietly above sidewalks, watching crowds pass beneath them. Everything changed again in the early 2000s. Digital technology replaced analog recording systems. Instead of storing footage on tapes, cameras began storing data on hard drives. This allowed longer recordings and easier searching. Video quality also improved dramatically. High-definition cameras made identification easier. Internet connections allowed cameras to transmit footage remotely. Security teams could monitor locations from anywhere. Modern surveillance cameras are far more advanced than their early ancestors. Many include motion detection systems. Some cameras automatically begin recording when movement appears. Others track moving objects across a frame. More advanced systems can recognize faces. Some can even read license plates. Artificial intelligence is now being integrated into surveillance systems. Algorithms analyze footage automatically. They can detect unusual movement patterns. They can flag suspicious activity. The CCTV camera is no longer just a passive observer. It is becoming an analytical machine. But surveillance technology also raises serious questions. Questions about privacy and control. One famous philosophical idea related to surveillance is called the panopticon. It was proposed by philosopher Jeremy Bentham. The concept described a circular prison with a guard tower in the center. Prisoners could never know when they were being watched. Because of that uncertainty, they behaved as if they were always observed. The system controlled behavior through perception. Modern surveillance systems resemble this idea in many ways. People rarely know exactly when cameras are watching, but the possibility is always there. And that possibility influences behavior. CCTV footage has helped solve thousands of crimes. Police frequently use recorded video as evidence. One of the earliest cases occurred in Germany in 1960. Investigators used surveillance footage to identify robbery suspects. Today, video evidence plays a role in countless investigations, from small thefts to major criminal cases. Yet critics warn about expanding surveillance networks. Large camera systems can collect enormous amounts of data. Questions remain about who controls that information and how long the footage should be stored. Future surveillance systems may become even more advanced. Artificial intelligence is rapidly improving. Some cities are experimenting with real-time facial recognition systems. These cameras can instantly compare faces against databases. Supporters argue this technology can stop crimes faster. Critics warn it could lead to unprecedented monitoring. Regardless of the debate, one thing is clear: surveillance cameras are now deeply embedded in modern life. It all began with a rocket launch camera in 1942, a simple device designed to protect engineers. Today, billions of cameras observe streets and buildings around the world, most of them operating silently in the background. They record accidents, crimes, and everyday moments. They have changed how cities operate. They have changed how investigations are conducted. And they have changed how people behave in public. Yet the most fascinating part of this object is how invisible it has become. Most people rarely think about it. We walk beneath cameras every day, often without ever looking up. But their presence quietly shapes the modern world. A silent network of lenses watching everything. Sometimes the most powerful technologies are the ones we stop noticing. The CCTV camera may be one of them. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing to the channel. There are many more hidden histories waiting to be uncovered. You already know the object. You don't know the story. Subscribe to ObjectLore for more hidden histories hiding in plain sight.